I guess we're doing this.
Where is the moment we need it the most?
Welcome back to Wonderland, where we take a look at bands on one song. Yes, we are going to continue with the half dozen or so requests I sold off to fix my sick dog. She's much better now, thanks to your contributions. Although I noticed that since her surgery, she does fart a lot more. Don't know what that's about. Anyway, the requests are great, because they force me to do songs that I've been avoiding for years and years and years and years. Years.
Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around.
Bad Day by Daniel Powter, the smash hit that was basically everywhere in 2006, is by some metrics the biggest one-hit wonder of that entire decade. If you have engaged with music at all since the turn of the millennium, then there is a 99.9% chance you recognize this song instantly. Like, even if you have done everything in your power to avoid this kind of music, or music period, even if you listen to nothing but books on tape since 2006, even you are probably going, oh right, that song.
You had a bad day, the camera don't lie.
At some point in the past 20 years, you have had at least one bad day. And when that happened, Daniel Powter was there for you. And he was there for your good days too, and your mediocre days, and your sick days, holidays. Every single day of your life, you have had a decent chance of running into bad day.
You had a bad day.
That is a serious achievement. And hopefully Daniel Powter got some comfort out of it, because his career afterward was basically one long bad day. Like, usually a good chunk of the show is parsing out whether this so-called one-hit wonder deserves the label, but there is no disputing the status this time around. If you know a second Daniel Powter song, you're either Daniel Powter himself or you're someone related to him. And I mean like immediate family, not like a cousin or something. That's way too distant to care about Daniel Powter. Which is weird, because soft rock stations love shit like this. Almost everyone in this genre, if they had a first hit, they had a second hit. Not this guy. How did that happen? In the most boring genre in human existence, Daniel Powter was somehow even too boring for that. But I have been challenged to find something to say about this song, and you paid me a lot of money for it, so that's what we're gonna do. Let us find out once and for all, where is the moment we need it the most?
You had a bad day. You had a bad day.
Before the hit, Daniel Powter was, some guy. His story starts dull and stays dull, but what I can tell you is that he is Canadian, which you should have guessed by the hat he's wearing in everything you see him in. The Canadian top hat, they called it. He says he was inspired to music by British songwriter Nick Drake.
I saw it written and I saw it say, Pink moon is on
who
it.
he sounds absolutely nothing like. He knew he wanted to sing, but he struggled with his music lessons because he's dyslexic, and he dropped out of college and dedicated himself to playing by ear. He put out an obscure album in 2000, and from what I read, it sounds like they printed about 5 copies of it, and it sold even less. Like, by his own admission, he was not really ready for prime time yet. It's only available as a bootleg on YouTube, where the uploader misspelled his name several times. Basically, his only notable accomplishment in his pre-hit years was that he made it onto the soundtrack of a Canadian high school show starring pre-Star Wars Hayden Christensen. I can't believe this guy and Anakin Skywalker have the same origin.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
You had a bad day. You're taking one down. You sing a
Anyway, because I want something to be in this section, I hunted down the couple of times that not Degrassi here used his songs.
Jules, it's me, Augie. Yeah, it's me, Jules. Your mom? Don't worry, I won't let her hurt you.
So what I will say here is that Daniel Powter definitely makes the kind of music that plays in shows like these. And based on this, I would assume that the only bigger, better things waiting for him was maybe showing up in the background of better TV shows. Like, not like the OC or anything, not that good, but like One Tree Hill or something like that. But there were, in fact, better things waiting for him. In his mid-30s, he finally got signed and put out an album. and then a Coke commercial in France licensed one of his songs. From there, it spread through Europe and then the world. Thanks a lot, Coca-Cola. Well, that's a memorable piano riff at least. It's fun to play. Yeah, that's I don't hate Bad Day. I don't. It's not a bad song. I mean, it's not like the worst song I've ever heard or anything. It isn't. It isn't. I've never really thought much about this song. I never said, man, this song sucks, which, you know me, I'll say that about anything. If my grandkids came up to me and sang a song about how much they loved me and I thought it sucked, I'd say it to their faces. So the fact that I've never actively resented Daniel Powter, despite the song being everywhere, that means it must be doing something right. But the fact that I've also never felt like hearing this song ever in any way, that means it must be doing something wrong too. Well, let's see if we can't go into the lyrics and figure out why.
Where is the moment we needed the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost.
Old jokes don't die. Anyway.
Don't need no carrying on. 'Cause you had a bad day. You're taking one down. You sing a sad song.
What?
You're taking one down. You sing
Taking one down? Taking one what down?
You had a bad day. The camera don't lie.
Camera? What camera? What are you talking about? Was she like a news anchor? Did she look miserable on set today?
You're coming back down and you really don't mind.
You really don't mind? That you had a bad day? Like, yes, you did mind. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a bad day.
You had a bad day. You had a bad day.
Okay, I thought diving into the lyrics would help me get a better handle on this song, but it makes me feel it less. It's all very vague.
Well, you need a blue sky holiday. The point is they laugh at what you say. And I don't need no carrying on.
What? Like, none of those three lines go together? In fact, when you try and figure out what this song is about exactly, you won't really find anything. I think this guy subscribes to like the Max Martin school of songwriting.
I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
Like, it doesn't matter if the line actually goes here, it just has to sound like it does. Like, he throws in a random you and I at one point,
Oh, you and I.
and then he just never finishes the sentence or connects it to anything. That's just how he writes. Like, you don't really need a narrative in this one, it's just vibes. It's pure vibes. You don't have to know what it means exactly, you get the idea. You had a bad day, but it's gonna be alright.
Tell me your blue skies fade to gray.
I think the song's supposed to be comforting, and I think that's why it connected really well with people, but also you will find people who do hate this song a lot more than I do, and I get it. Like, I don't particularly like this song, but if you're having a bad day, well, this song is like a big warm hug from a friend. Sometimes when things are kind of shitty, you need that friend to put things in perspective. Like, yeah, that sucks, but it's just a bad day. They happen. It'll be okay tomorrow. Tonight, let's just make some mojitos and we'll watch rom-coms and we'll put all of this behind us. But if you're having a good day, this song is a total buzzkill and it's thoroughly annoying. And if you're having a really bad day, then, oh buddy. Sometimes, it's not just a bad day. Sometimes things are seriously fucking bad, and tomorrow's not gonna be any better. And in that situation, that friend trying to make it seem like it's not that big a deal, that just annoys the fucking piss out of you. Like, if your day is, I found out my wife is cheating on me, or my cat has leukemia, then Daniel Powter going, aw, who had a bad day? Fuck off, you patronizing dick. Get out. Why do I even hang out with you?
'Cause you had a bad day. You're taking one down.
I think that's why the song is so funny if you use it as a joke. Like, there are no ends of commercials and viral videos that use this song. Like, they started springing up right away. Like, check this out in all its pixelated glory.
You had a bad day. You're taking one down.
Ah, sucks for you. Like, it's such a smarmy song. It already kind of sounded like it was making fun of you. And it's not even the state of your mind when you hear it. it's in the text, insofar as this song has any text. Like, I don't think any of these lyrics actually mean anything, but this line?
You fall into pieces every time, and I don't need no carrying on.
I don't need no carrying on. It sounds like Powter is just straight telling you to shut up and quit whining already. Like, I don't need this. Oh my God, are you still going on about that? We all have bad days, Amanda. You don't hear me bitching about it. Like, something about his smug, chipper, chirpy voice. Like, does this song sound to me like a hit? Yeah, I'm not surprised it was big, but I don't quite get why it was #1 hit big. Like, I checked out the video to see if maybe that was amazing, something you'd want to watch on VH1 every day, and it just looks like everything else that was on that channel. It's cute, I guess, but like, why did every VH1 video look like this? Why was that channel allergic to color? Why is everything about this guy so brown? His clothes, his album, his videos. But I can tell you one thing about this video that does interest me. You see that? Look again. If you look, he is clearly playing Bad Day in the key of C, even though the song is obviously in E flat. That's a huge difference. What the hell? Like, I thought maybe this guy was a fraud. Like, he said he did drop out of music school, so maybe he couldn't fake playing the right key. He had to switch it to the easy key with no sharps or flats. But upon research, it looks like he can in fact play his instrument. Better than I can, most certainly. And also the song's really easy regardless of what key it's in. So it seems more likely that he's playing it in C because he never learned to play it in E flat because it's too high.
Cause he had a bad day, you're taking one down.
He's singing Bad Day, but not quite that high. It strains his poor voice and it's hard to sing live. I mean, 3 whole keys down, that's a lot. I guess in the studio, his producers told him he wasn't annoying enough to be catchy unless he really stretched that falsetto. Holiday! But of course, I can tell you why this song got big. I remember why.
Fox tonight, it's finally here. The 2-hour season premiere of American Idol starts right now.
Yes, in the mid-2000s, I did watch American Idol, and if you meet someone who said they didn't, they're probably lying.
Going home tonight is Mandisa.
Anyway, if I have my timeline right, I think season 5 was the first season they gave the Eliminations a theme song.
Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down.
And they picked Bad Day for it, which, you know, I think that's a good call. Because in the previous seasons, the Eliminations had kind of serious funeral vibes to them. So Bad Day set exactly the right tone.
You had a bad day, the camera don't lie.
Like, it's sad, but it's not that sad. Let's be level-headed about this. No one died or anything. They just reached their 15th minute is all. Just one bad day. I don't remember Idol being where I first heard the song. I think it was around already, but it definitely got a big boost from it. Like, I would say that after Since You've Been Gone and Before He Cheats, this is the biggest hit Idol ever made. It was everywhere. Which is pretty impressive considering the song is basically a bowl of warm oatmeal. I mean, oatmeal with some cinnamon and sugar in it. It's not, you know, the worst meal you've ever had. But still, not the most exciting either. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just need some comfort food, and that's what America wanted in the dark days of 2006. For the record, I don't think he'd disagree with anything I'm saying about his songwriting here. I looked up some interviews and he said that, 1, yeah, the lyrics are more about syllables than actually meaning anything. And 2, it is supposed to be kind of teasing you.
You know, you just start complaining about a lot of stupid stuff that's not worth complaining about, like, oh, my latte was just too cold today, and oh, I was, you know, my manicure, and it's kind of just like a reminder of how lucky most people really are to be where we are. And
so it's not like anything about this song happened by accident. It's kind of ironic, really, because Bad Day is the story of someone having one bad day in an otherwise happy story. And Daniel Powter's story is basically the exact opposite. Okay, I've already talked about this phenomenon in one of the billion episodes I've done, but almost none of the acts I cover are perfect, ideal examples of one-hit wonders. Like, if you get a top 10 hit, you will get another charting song. Not necessarily another hit, but you will get at least a tiny sliver of attention because you already had the first hit. Daniel Powter, though, is one of the pure one-hit wonders. He is one of about 12 people who reached number 1, and then for the rest of their career, their songs were only able to reach a chart peak of number nothing. Not stalled out at number 53, or 55, or 82, or whatever. No, he never reached the Hot 100 again at all, ever. The only other people who have pulled this off did it by being extremely weird flutes like the Miami Vice theme or whatever.
Rides through the jungle, tearing limbs off of trees.
Right, like that's the caliber of song I'm talking about. But obviously that doesn't describe Daniel Powter, who was as middle of the road as they come. How did an artist as vanilla and radio friendly as Daniel Powter join those ranks? Well, let's see.
I'm a little used to calling outside your name.
His follow-up was called Free Loop. I think it's called that because it's built off of a free piano loop he got off the internet. I don't even know if that's a joke or not. Like, it's the best guess I have because it sure doesn't show up in the lyrics. Okay, by free loop we mean free love, I guess. Look, if you're gonna make a soft rock song about hooking up, you can't call this what it is, you know? You gotta be at least a little romantic about it.
I've been fabulous through to find my town name. I'll be stewed tomorrow if I don't leave us both the same.
I really don't like this guy as a songwriter. He sounds like he writes his lyrics by mix and matching fridge magnets. Also, this music video is insane. Little baby Daniel Powter wants a piano. Oh, he saved up until an adult and he bought it with his piggy bank money. Good luck with that. You can't have more than 17 Canadian dollars in there. My first piano was so expensive that my dad lied to my mom about how much it cost. But then he has to sell the piano, but then he gets his big break, and then later he stumbles across it and he restores it. Call me a cold-hearted jerk if you want, but this is just silly to me. This is like me finding my old 20-year-old laptop and trying to edit videos on it. A new piano is fine. Well, it's obvious why that one flopped. Let's try the next one. Jimmy Gets High.
Jimmy, you know, everybody hates it when you're living off rock and roll. So you get high tonight.
I think this is going to be my favorite of his songs because I can tell what it's about.
Jimmy gets high tonight.
It's about a sad rock and roller who deals with the stress of fame by getting high. Boy, is this the wrong guy to be writing about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, the Elton John influence is obvious, but the writing's just weak. It just doesn't connect. I mean, I'll tell you what gets high. Powter's voice.
Jimmy gets high tonight.
Also, is your thing really gonna be wearing that fucking knit cap fucking everywhere, even at an orgy? That does not go with that suit, man. Take off the fucking beanie. Well, that's also a flop. Here's the next single, Lie to Me.
I knew this girl named Detroit cool that moved up in my block.
Absolutely not.
Tell me once again, why would you lie to me?
Look, I would describe his whole style as, what if Adam Levine wasn't funky? Like, it's funny he's relying on that falsetto so much when apparently he can't pull it off out of the studio. Well, at least now he's switched to a different kind of dumb hat. But otherwise, yeah, that's another flop. And then we have a fifth single off this album called Love You Lately, which sounds exactly like all the other ones.
I'm the one that loves you lately.
And Jesus Christ, 5 singles. Like, this is how you know Bad Day was a huge hit. It's insane that we have 4 more videos off of one album, none of which remotely justify putting any money behind it. Like, there is no way any of these songs get any promotion without Bad Day taking off first.
The only ones that are around is Babylon.
I've already forgotten how every single one of those songs goes. Well, I mean, yes, but also no.
I woke up early to baby blue.
He released 2 more albums, the first of which was called Under the Radar, which sounds like he knew exactly what was about to happen there.
Can't believe I missed your birthday again, and I wanna come back, but I just don't know when now. And
Anyway, this is a song about how touring is hard and he misses you. I guess this song's alright. Here's another.
I'm hoping you'll sing along, though it's not your favorite song.
Christ, all these songs sound the same. This is boring. I'm bored. Why did you request this? While the music itself is dull, the story of his downfall is at least a tiny bit more interesting. Like, a lot of guys get their first taste of fame and get even more ambitious. Powter did the opposite. He said he knew he was never gonna top Bad Day, so he stopped trying for that mega massive mainstream success. Like, maybe if that song had done a little worse, he'd try a little harder. Also, he said straight up that except for playing music, he just does not really like any part of the music industry. He doesn't like interviews, doesn't like TV. Like, VH1 still had some clout by that point, so if Daniel Powter wanted to, he would have been plastered all over that network, but he just had no mic skills and no camera skills.
You're beautiful.
Powter will forever be associated with James Blunt, the other wuss rock one-hitter of 2006, and Powter said he doesn't see the connection. He thinks he sounds more like James Brown than James Blunt, which means we can also probably count delusion as a possible factor. And also, he had one other major issue preventing him from following it up. It turns out Daniel Powter developed a serious problem with the powder, if you get me.
You know, I did a lot of drugs. You know, I was really addicted to drugs and alcohol. And
Eventually he had to work to get clean. He got completely sober, which doesn't sound like much fun, but, you know, if he was ever feeling down about it in rehab, well, I know a song he could listen to cheer himself up.
Take me out, spin me around.
In 2012, he released his final album. Looks like he was trying to get on that Jack Johnson, Jason Mraz train. He finally took the hat off, thankfully. You know, I thought he was gonna be bald, but I guess he wears the hat because he's got like this weird Megamind forehead. But like, I wouldn't have noticed or said anything if he wasn't so intent on covering it up. Like, you're just drawing attention to it, man. That last album came out in 2012, and that's been it from him. The last anyone heard of him was last year, where, as part of a cute little stunt, he showed up on Canada's Got Talent pretending to be a contestant, which I think all these talent shows do stunts like that.
My name's Daniel. I thought I would sing an original song that I wrote.
So I always think it's scary when people sing their original songs, because if you pick something that's top 40 and you're playing it, you're apt to get people tapping their toes, and you kind of take that risk.
Yeah.
Which is a big risk.
I like that even in his home country, which has massive subsidies to its homegrown talent, he doesn't get recognized. For the record, a couple of his songs did chart in his home country, so I guess he's not a one-hit wonder there, but I've been told by many Canadians that the Canadian charts mean nothing, even in Canada, and since no one in the crowd recognizes him, as far as I'm concerned, his one-hit wonder status is still as pure as the driven tundra. On the other hand, they do eventually put it together.
Where was the moment we needed the most?
Howie Mandel's like, oh, it's Daniel Powter, which is how you know that this is taking place in Canada. In this country, we'd never put it together. Howard Stern would just be sitting there not getting the joke, like, well, that's not an original song. What are you doing? And I think that'll probably be the last time anyone hears from him.
Thanks. See you again, Daniel. Sing a sad song to
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
He wrote a bad song, the numbers don't lie. No, I can't quite call Bad Day a bad song. It has something to it, has a very universal power, and I'm not gonna claim it didn't earn its way into all our hearts, or our minds at least. Especially the part of our minds that remember all the annoying songs. But, you know, ultimately I don't see what this guy offers that you couldn't get from your average guy at the open mic night at the bar. This was a man destined to have one or less hits. But you know, for a guy who will always be associated with bad days, he seems thoroughly fine. He keeps pumping out different versions of his one hit, so he's certainly not mad at it. If he's at all resentful that he didn't get any bigger, he sure as hell doesn't show it. And you know what? Good for him.
You had a bad day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
'Cause you had a bad day. You take it one day.